But when you think about it, there is zero evidence that people of color are going to threaten their everyday lives.
There's no evidence. It's not even in our nature. That's what
Not
I'm saying. It's not even in our nature to like go that route,
at all.
right? But I do think in terms of strategy, I think, if there's ever going to be, this is about like the collective like nervous system and what
Mhm.
like
Yes.
what we really feel is truly a threat to our existence, right? And how do we, what language do we need to use and adapt for whoever's sitting in front of us to address the fear in that person, and not the semantics and the rhetoric and all that, but like that person's nervous system. And that's why I like the work of Resma. He wrote My Grandmother's Hands. Do you know about his work? Because he talks about like the violence that lives in the body, the black and brown body and the white body, and this is just aggression and violence that lives in our bodies. It's just there, you know.
It
How do
lives
we?
generations. So, what my great great grandmother went through is in my DNA, it's in my cells, whether I can acknowledge it or not. And the same aggression, the
Mhm.
same violence is perhaps in theirs. I don't, I'm not a professional. All I know is that the violence seems to go one way. There's a lot of projection that if they were just another race among races, we'd be out to get them. But that's a narcissistic delusion, in my opinion, because walking around this earth as a 50-some-year-old Black woman, I see everybody, but I'm not focused on any particular person. I'm not, oh, I wonder what that white woman's doing. I'm minding my business. But I know wherever I go, somebody's focused on me. What's
Mm.
she doing? Oh, what's she wearing? And you feel, I mean, you're a Black woman. You feel eyes on you for good reasons, bad reasons, curiosity. They're very focused
Yeah, and
on our
that's,
moves.
I mean, we are the shit.
I mean, I get it. Try, and I tell this to my daughter too. That's the latest. That's another lesson I had to tell her, you know, is baby, you're never going to be alone.
No, no. Yeah, I mean, there is something beautiful about, I don't, the flattery, right? Um, but I think this comes back to like power, and I don't know. I don't know the exact quote, but the something about like the soul of America is like the core of it is cold and desolate and
Mm,
ultimately doesn't care. And I don't know if that statement is true because from an evolutionary place, like tribalism, like it was just designed for there always to be a superior power, the pursuit of there existing a superior power existing. Is that what it means to be human here, to the collective classroom of being human? Is it these power struggles and and greed and all of these evils? And could we ever really like get around, these ills, these like social ills?
I
Um,
think it's really interesting because there's one group of people that have been telling their story about who everybody else is. One group of people. Black people are this, Latinos are this, Asians are this, da da da. But what does it say when you're pointing your finger? There's three others pointing at you. And unfortunately, we don't have aliens here who could probably record more of the truth.
Yeah.
which, you know, just, I mean, all you're
Yeah.
going to do is look and go, who
Yeah.
what is at your core? Because when you're a person of color, all you see is othering, a little bit of violence, well, a lot, elitism, neglect, all
Mm,
this projection of what everybody else is going to do, but it's nobody's thinking about that. And I really pray, and I've said this before, I feel really bad for Caucasians, poor white people who
mm,
don't have the edge. I truly have empathy because they've been taught that they're superior. Their grandmothers told them, their grandfather, we love our families. We don't want our families to
mm,
be liars. They've been told, well, whatever it is, we're poor, but we're not as bad as those black people. So that's
mm,
all they
mm.
know. So if that it's like layers of lasagna layers of that's their truth, that's their truth. And by time you get to be 30, 40, there's no way to dismantle those pieces of that lasagna. There's no
Right. And
way.
that's what I was saying, like what at that point of meeting that person at that place, what really has to happen in that exchange to like see each other? Like that's really the $1 million kind of question. And I think if we can show up from a place of curiosity, I think, we do falter by being hyper reactive,
We do.
quick to cancel. We gotta like just pause,
We,
and really remember coming back to remembering like all of us are operating from fear. So before I jump, let me just like try to have a meeting of heart, with this person and like see if we can listen. You know, that's really the extent of what we can attempt to do.
I love
But
that you said that because you're 100,000% right. Because we know racism is awful and wrong, when we get a hint of it, we are pissed. And I'm also trying to teach my youngin, take a moment. Again, that beat is powerful. Take
Mhm.
that pause and go, why would they think that?
Yeah.
And even when the mean girls are saying mean things to my daughter, don't just be silent in that moment. Gather yourself and go, why do you think that?
Mhm.
They're never going to respond to our emotion. They have been conditioned not to care about our tears, our pain, our angst, nothing. That is as old as this country is.
Yeah.
They were separating mommies from children. I'm sure there was a lot of wailing and crying, and they have been conditioned not to give a fuck. So remember what we said about what's in our systems,
Mhm.
right? That does not register.
Mhm.
So I have to teach my daughter, take a beat so you can get your emotions together and then ask a curious question.
Mhm.
And I'm constantly trying to tell them that anger, that writing that email with I'm pissed, it's going to get us nowhere. We
Mhm.
have to work smarter, not harder.
Right. Yeah. And I think though with that curiosity, we do want to teach them the point at which they can exit, right? Like I don't think we need to be the containers for, and be extending, overextending, right? Because I think there are times when you realize, oh, okay, this person is inflexible or could potentially bring harm to me. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw a boundary and keep a safe distance from this person, right? Because I think we do sometimes our heart is to, I think we overextend. I see that, happening and offering too many favors and we got to take care of ourselves and our psyches. Um,
That is our default too, isn't it? And I think that comes from even when we were being whipped, even when they stole our babies, even when they killed our husbands, we cooked their meals, we breastfed their babies, we made sure their house was clean. Oh, it's so painful to even think about
mhm,
that there was no humanity offered to that black woman, but yet she offered the, oh, I'm gonna cry.
yeah. And we are the ultimate forbidden fruit,
Yes.
you know. So that comes with a lot of things, even with what coming back to earlier with that conversation with Hunter and Min. Sometimes we are sought after just for the mystique, and the
Fetishized.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. So um all the things, and yet I would never trade it. I would never trade it.
I say it all the time. I stopped wearing, I used to wear like a lot of I had a sweatsuit that had like black, it was like an abstract art with black women on it. I stopped wearing that. I stopped wearing my little sweat two-piece that said Tubman. I stopped wearing that. I stopped wearing like anything with like black figures or symbolism on it because, again, we too, we have a tendency, as you said, to be loud. We have a tendency, and what I'm saying is touchdown, like spiking the ball in the end zone and doing the touchdown dance when we're extraordinary. Are we offering them too much grace to say, maybe we don't need to touchdown dance because we know how fragile they are? Or fuck them, spike that ball.
The latter. The latter. Yeah, that's what, even in that walk house, the revolution that's happening in that walk house is giving like the girls and women like back their permission to go out, whether that's in like, I have women who are in positions where they go to a work event and people are talking to her as if she's like the assistant and she's like the the president, you know what I mean? Just because she's got brown skin, right? So like, do we just keep muting who we are and tiptoeing and trying to accommodate, or do we, with our posture and our tone and the way we move, like, do we assert um that the royalty and the value of who we are? I think we go that route. you know and we do it in very, like, there's a way, um but I think that way is natural when we can find rest and balance and play in our lives, so that we're not spent, where our bodies are not weathered. Because when we're tired, that's when we're like reactive or angry. We're tired.
100.
Tired,
Oh,
you
and
know?
we all are tired. It's the assault has been very effective.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about aging?
Yeah.
Because another common thing, many of our women we're dealing with perimenopause, menopause, right?
The fucker. Yep.